Welcome to Fantastic Vision. Please subscribe us before you watch today's video. Judging from the recent reaction of the United States has realized that decoupling from China may have a serious impact on the United States. Therefore, the United States has successively sent 4 officials, including Secretary of State Blinken, Treasury Secretary Yellen, and Commerce Secretary Raimondo. A high-level visit to China, or Biden's statement at the United Nations General Assembly. There is no need for conflict with China. In fact, they are all easing the relationship between China and the United States. In the United States' expectations, China's harmless prosperity is the most beneficial situation for the United States. To put it bluntly, the United States wants to make China a dumping ground for American factories and products, and the United States earns a lot of benefits by mastering advanced technology. It is precisely for this reason that the United States has always curbed the development of China's technology industry. U.S. Treasury Secretary Yellen once said directly, in order to normalize Sino-U.S. relations, China must give up high-tech technology research and development. Not only that, some senior U.S. officials said, U.S. high-tech technology is enough for China to use for 200 years, and China should give up high-tech and focus on technology research and development. It is not difficult to see from these statements that what the United States means is, the United States masters advanced core technologies, and China is responsible for OEM production. People who know a little bit know that Western countries have obtained the majority of profits in the industrial chain through mastering advanced technology for many years. It is precisely for this reason that China must upgrade its industry and let more profits flow back to the country by mastering more core technologies. Judging from the current situation, the frequency of high-level contacts between China and the United States has increased. Whether it is the visit of senior U.S. officials to China or Biden's statement at the United Nations General Assembly, it is enough to prove that the connection between China and the United States is gradually strengthening. The Biden team is also trying its best to show that the United States wants to ease relations with China. Even the U.S. ambassador to Japan received a warning from the United States when he made anti-China remarks. From these points, it is not difficult to see that the United States is changing its international image. It is reported that within 24 hours after the end of the UN General Assembly meeting, Chinese and American officials held 2 consecutive talks. First, the Chinese Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs and the U.S. Acting Deputy Secretary of State held talks on Sino-U.S. communication and cooperation, easing bilateral relations and other issues. And a consensus was reached. Later, senior Chinese officials and senior U.S. officials exchanged conditions on climate issues and other related issues. On the surface, Sino-U.S. relations seem to be easing, but in fact, the U.S.'s technological suppression of China has not stalled, and the U.S. is even increasing its chip ban. It is not difficult to see from the behavior of the United States that the United States will not give up curbing China's technological development, but its methods have slightly changed from before. Previously, China had reciprocally retaliated against measures such as the tripartite agreement between the United States, Japan, and the Netherlands to restrict semiconductor equipment, restricting the export of products related to rare metals such as germanium and gallium. China's countermeasures made the United States very uncomfortable, and it even started recycling gallium from waste. After the talks between China and the United States, China also showed sufficient sincerity. According to confirmation from the U.S. company AXT, its subsidiary in China has obtained export licenses for gallium and germanium substrates. Not only that, AXT also stated that it will strengthen cooperation with relevant Chinese departments and obtain the necessary licenses. The well-known media Reuters also reported relevant news. From this, it is not difficult to see that China has shown goodwill in rare metals such as germanium and gallium. However, it is clear that the United States is still determined to expand the scope of restrictions. It is reported that the U.S. Department of Commerce has once again tightened the chip bill and strictly prohibits all entities that receive U.S. semiconductor product funds from upgrading the semiconductor manufacturing capabilities of countries of concern within 10 years to maintain the U.S. national security. Although it is not stated explicitly, it is obvious that this so-called country of concern actually refers to China. This ban actually restricts U.S. semiconductor companies and non-U.S. semiconductor companies from expanding their semiconductor manufacturing capabilities in mainland China. Judging from the scope of the previous chip ban and the influence of the United States in the field of chip semiconductors, this increased chip ban has basically banned most of the world's top semiconductor companies, such as Nvidia, Intel, Qualcomm, Samsung and other companies. Within the limits. The purpose of the United States move is also obvious, which is to restrict semiconductor companies from expanding production capacity in mainland China, thereby affecting the development of China's semiconductor industry. Chips are a very typical globalized division of labor industry. If China's chip industry wants to develop rapidly, it will naturally be difficult to do without the help of top international semiconductor companies. The United States wants to unite its allies to decouple and cut off the links of China's semiconductor industry, otherwise China will have its own independence. Create a complete advanced industrial chain, otherwise China's chip industry will stagnate. It talks about easing relations with China, but secretly it continues to take action against China's technological development. The United States has never given up on suppressing Chinese technology. To put it bluntly, if China's technology wants to develop, it still has to rely on itself.